thought to myself, did I just ruin a $495 pair of boots? Hola familia, Jose-Noel here, and today I'm going to share with you how to treat salt bloom on your leather combat boots. Specifically, I'm going to be treating the Marquez Combat Boot in walnut. I love this boot. I wear it all the time, casual and formal, and genuinely, I wear them so much that I do beat them up quite a bit. Here in South Bend, Indiana, our great parks and recreation facilities take care of their snow and ice by utilizing something called ice melt. And these are typically some form of crystallized chemicals in addition to salt that will help to melt the ice and make sure that the ground is walkable. These chemicals can sometimes get onto your combat boots or any form of your leather dress shoes, and because it is a porous material, it will absorb the materials and then it will create something called salt bloom. And when it becomes embedded in the leather, it looks like some form of wavy textural difference that seems to be raised above the surface of the natural leather. Now, since I wear these boots all the time, after the photo shoot, I took them off and I let them sit on my shelf for about 2 weeks without noticing. But because these are my beat 'em up boots and because I have all of the tools at my disposal, we're gonna take a look at 3 different solutions that I found on the internet for cleaning and treating salt bloom from your leather combat boots. So let's get started. Before adding any form of solution to your boots, you wanna make sure that you do a few things in preparation. First, I make sure that I remove the laces from the boots and that I help retain their shape. So what I like to do is use thick socks and stuff them into the shoe so that way it can retain their shape. Once you've removed the laces, make sure that you give your boots a nice brushing with a clean horsehair brush. You can find these on Amazon and they are fairly affordable. Additionally, I'm going to be putting a link inside of the description of this video for all of the different products that I use to make sure that they're easy for you to find. And I want you to keep in mind that I am not sponsored by anybody here. I do this simply because I love my JL Rocha products. This is my family's legacy, and I want to make sure that you are as equipped as I am, and if you're young like I am, that you know the best practices moving forward. Solution number 1, water and cleaning vinegar. The first solution that I found on the internet requires a treatment of 2 parts water and 1 part cleaning vinegar. So I grabbed a standard shot glass from León, Guanajuato, because it's one of my favorite places in the world, and I added an entire shot of water into a mixing bowl. Then I filled it up halfway with the cleaning vinegar solution and I mixed it in the bowl. After mixing the solution in the bowl, I used it on a discrete area of the shoes. Now, because these are the Marquez Combat Boots, I think the most discreet area is behind the eyelets on the tongue of the boots. And once I determined that it was safe to use without creating any form of major discoloration, I went ahead and I utilized it on all of the boots. Now, when you're using the solution, it's important that you do not scratch. You simply want to wipe down the area, and if you place a bit of extra attention in the areas that require treatment due to salt bloom, you can press down a bit harder, but I do not recommend scratching off the surface. This will create abrasions on your boots, and the scratches will definitely be more noticeable than any of the salt bloom that's left behind once you're done with this treatment. So you want to wipe down your boots with enough solution to make sure that you're cleaning all parts of the boot, but you don't want to oversaturate it. It's important to note that leather is naturally hydrophobic, so it's naturally going to repel water. This doesn't mean that they are fully waterproof, but because it is a natural porous material, you shouldn't be too worried about getting them wet or even going into the snow with them. If you don't mind a little bit of wear and tear on your boots, which you shouldn't, this should be an enjoyable and almost meditative part of your footwear care. When you're done wiping down the boots, make sure you give them a few hours to dry off, and then you want to brush them off. And if you determine that you still need to give it a little bit of extra love, let's move on to solution number 2. Leather Honey Leather Cleaning Solution. Now, this is a solution that I found online specifically to clean my hiking boots. These are Timberlands that are treated in a very specific way, and I got them incredibly dirty when I went hiking throughout my honeymoon in Jasper, Alberta. I highly recommend visiting if you haven't been. But we're going to try this also on the Marquez Combat Boots in walnut. They also sell a leather conditioner that you can utilize, but for our purposes in this video, we are not going to be utilizing that specific solution because we have other ideas in mind, and we'll get to that in a moment. First, When you're treating your boots with the Leather Honey leather cleaner, here's what you want to do. You're going to want a lint-free microfiber cloth. You're going to apply the cleaning solution to the cloth to make sure that it is damp but not wet, and then you simply want to apply it to your boots. Once again, you don't want to get these too wet, but you want to make sure that you're giving your boots a full cleaning. After you've cleaned up your boots and you've wiped them down and given them time to dry off, you're going to want to give them one last brushing and double check your results. After checking them out, I feel pretty good with the results that I've achieved, but I still want to take this one extra mile. And here's where we're going to go into step 3. Step 3 is a standard shoe shine treatment. Now, I have a beautiful shoe shine care box from the shoecareshop.com that my dad gave me. Shout out to JL himself. And it comes with all the supplies I need, but I purchased a few extra items as well. I have a number of brushes inside of the box. One I typically use for darker shoes and the other I use for lighter shoes. And then I also keep a third brush to make sure that I use it as a finishing brush for any fully cleaned and dried off shoes. It also comes with a cloth, and we're going to be using this cloth to apply the Saphir light brown shoe polish onto the boots. I'm also going to be utilizing the Pate Deluxe as the finishing product to give it an extra shine, but we'll show you what that looks like at the end. Now, when applying the shoe shine, once again, you want to make sure that you test it in a discrete area, just like all of the different solutions that we've tried before you apply it onto the main body of the boots. But once you've determined that it's safe to use and the color matches appropriately, you can go ahead and apply it to the rest of the boots. Sometimes when I'm applying shoe shine, I will typically use a smaller circular horsehair brush to apply the shoe shine evenly throughout the entire shoe. However, in this instance, I'm going to be using the cleaning cloth only so I can utilize my finger and provide a more precise application so I can try to protect the contrasting cream colored stitching. Even if I mess up the stitching though, I'm not too worried about it because again, I wear these boots everywhere, and when you love something, it's going to naturally get some wear and tear. So don't be too afraid, but if you want to give it a little bit of extra care, you can follow the same process that I am. Once I've evenly applied the polish to the entire boot, I can let that sit and I can apply it onto the second boot. By letting the shoe polish sit, you allow it to better be absorbed by the shoe, and once you have your second boot polished, now you can go ahead and brush it off. Again, I'm using a separate horsehair brush that I utilize specifically for this step, and when I use it only for my light colored shoes. Keep in mind, when you're brushing your shoes, you want to utilize a technique that is from inside out. You want to push any form of excess polish, excess cleaning materials, and excess dust off of the shoe and outward. So that way you're not bringing it back into the shoe, and of course you're not brushing any particles or chemicals into your own face. After you've brushed off the shoe, you can already see that the polish is doing its work and it's giving your boot a beautiful shine. But if you want to take it an extra step further, you can use a finishing solution like the Pate Deluxe. This is going to give your shoe additional moisture if you're wearing it in dry areas like I do during the Indiana winters, and it'll give it a nice, brilliant finish. Now, to apply the Pate Deluxe, what I like to do is once again wrap the cleaning cloth around my finger and utilize a clean area of the cloth to soak in that Pate Deluxe by rubbing it in a circular motion while it's in the tin. Once I have the solution on the cloth, I will apply it to the boot, not being too generous because this is a very high quality product, and if you apply too much, not only is it wasteful, but it might make your shoes a bit too tacky and provide a substance that is more viscous in nature. So we want to apply the Pate Deluxe sparingly, but across the entire boot to make sure that we get a nice clean finish across the entire body of the boot. Once you've rubbed the Pate Deluxe in, you're going to once again let it sit for a small period of time, making sure that the leather can absorb the material and get all of the great nutrients to give it this shine. And once completed, you're going to take your cleaning brush once again and you're going to give it one final brush down. After looking at the results, I'd say that we are incredibly happy with how they look. It's a world of difference from the initial completely dirty shoe. We made sure to give the boot some extra care and clean the sole while we were already cleaning the main body and the leather. And in addition to that, once we have the laces on, they look practically good as new. You really need to be staring at this with a very close-up camera lens or with a very very fine eye for detail to even notice that this has been an issue in the past. So what did you think of my cleaning solutions? Have you tried any of these, or do you think that I just ruined the boots altogether? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any tips that our viewers might want to see, feel free to sound them off as well. Remember, we're doing a giveaway once we hit 400 subscribers, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that great stuff, because I love your support. It means the world to me and my family, and I'm so grateful to be sharing all this information with you. So thank you again. I hope this was very helpful in showing you how to treat salt bloom on your leather combat boots. And as always, I wish you so many beautiful moments for you and yours. That's Jose-Noel for Leather Style signing off. Hasta luego.